Good day! So to find the sum of squares formula, gagamit tayo ng blocks ngayon. So I have a collection of blocks, starting with 1 block, then apat for 2 squared, then siyam for 3 squared, and 16 for 4 squared. Since we only have a limited amount of blocks, let's just say that we have enough blocks from 1 squared hanggang n squared. To represent the sum of squares, I will put them together like this. So pinapatong ko siya to form like 1/4 of a pyramid. This stack of blocks will represent the sum of squares from 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared all the way hanggang kay n squared. And keep in mind na pwede natin itong isulat na summation from I equals 1 to n ng I squared. So magdadagdag tayo ngayon ng dalawa pang sets of blocks na each representing the summation of I squared from I equals 1 hanggang n. So ngayon meron tayong tatlong summation of I squared from I equals 1 to n. Now what we'll do is we'll put together these three sets of blocks and we'll figure out the volume of the figure that we will form. And the volume of this figure will be equal to yung tatlong summation of I squared from I equals 1 to n. Let's take a look at the figure na nabuo natin. Mukha siyang rectangular na block, pero makita natin mamaya na hindi. So tignan muna natin yung dimensions niya. Meron siyang length na n plus 1 at width na n. And we're working na n equals 4 for this scenario. Okay, observe natin yung taas niya. Hindi solid yung taas niya. Kalahati lang nung top layer yung may blocks. So instead of saying na meron siyang height na n plus 1, dahil kalahati lang yung layer sa taas, ang gagamitin nating height for it is n plus 1/2. The volume of this figure will be equal to 3 times yung summation ng I squared, which will be equal to the product of our dimensions, n times n plus 1 times n plus 1/2. Since ang gusto natin ay yung formula for the summation, we divide everything by 3. We multiply 2 over 2 para ma-process yung n plus 1/2, and we'll get the formula that the summation from I equals 1 to n ng I squared will be equal to n times n plus 1 times 2n plus 1 all over 6. Salamat sa pakikinig.